Today we're going to be playing with Ceruledge. This isn't anyone's list in particular. This is my take, which I mean, all the current successful Ceruledge lists are pretty standardized, so there's nothing groundbreaking on this one. Malupe, thanks so much for the follow. There's definitely not a lot of innovation to be made. I did base my build a lot on Ross Cawthon's deck. Overall, the one that he did really well with at Milwaukee a few months ago. And so we have Ceruledge with the Abyssal Flames attack, does 30 plus 20 more damage for each basic or for each energy in your discard pile. That's why we have so many energy in the deck. There's actually 20 of them. So hoping to get some really high numbers. And of course, the more energy you have, the more easily you're able to discard them, and therefore the easier you are able to get to those big numbers. And so Ceruledge is our only attacker, basically. I did contemplate adding the smaller Ceruledge that does 220 for single energy, and you have to discard 4 energy from your hand as a powerful non-EX single price attacker. However, you almost always have a Fez or a Squawk on your bench. It's really Legacy Energy that's going to help us really play into the single price situation, because Legacy Energy makes it so that the Pokemon it's attached to, if it gets knocked out by damage, then your opponent takes 1 less price card, right? So we can still have single price boards even with a 2-price Pokemon if we manage our Legacy Energy correctly. So that's going to be very important. We have the Lunatone Solrock engine. Of course, Lunatone synergizes perfectly with Ceruledge. We had to discard extra fighting energy, and then Solrock is a nice single price attacker. It's not as common to attack with this, with Solrock against many things with this deck as opposed to something like Golden Go, because there's no easy way to retreat the Solrock into the active. There's no Herballoons here. We do have 3 Jet energies, but of course that's the energy attachment for turn, so we cannot use that to bring the Solrock active. So if we start it, great. If not, it's mainly there to combo with the Lunatone. It can help in some like mid game situations, but overall we're not going to be attacking with Solrock too much. And then we have the copy of Iron Bundle, which can sometimes be as good as a boss's orders, especially early in the game, where you're trying to discard energies, but you also get that nice little boost attacking something that's not in the active, something that is getting powered up on the bench and is more valuable. And then we really rely on Squawkabilly and Carmine to really get us going, have an explosive turn 1, along with a couple of energy search cards with the Earthen Vessel and the Fighting Gong as well. And I mean, we have plenty of energy, so we don't need too much energy search overall, but we do want to have access to some search, especially because we're only playing 5 fires. Sometimes finding them is important, and sometimes you actually don't draw enough energy, and so having extra search for them is very good. Now, we do have access to Briar, since Ceruledge is a Terra Pokemon, so it's also a nice way to offset any weird price raise that our opponent might be trying to force us into. And we have Turo to sometimes pick up that Squawkabilly, which is a big liability on the bench. So that could be very important to maneuver. And finally, the last thing to know is like the spread of the 2 Charcadets. I don't think it's ever mattered to me. Overall, having 80 HP gives you a little bit more protection against like a late game Dragapult attack combined with a Halucha, but overall it's so minor that if you like, in my real life deck, I couldn't find the 80 HP Charcadet. I just chalked the fourth Charcadet with 70 HP in there. So yeah. Let's jump into some games, see how we do. They start the Mew, we'll have to see what they are actually playing and see if that has any sort of effect moving forward in our decision making. But so far, there's a Squawk, there's a Bug Catching set, so okay. We see an Ogerpon, we see a Grass, we like to see Fire Weak Pokemon and low HP EXs. That simplifies things for Ceruledge for sure overall, especially because Ogerpon will have a harder time to 1KO a Ceruledge. We see a Watchin, so with these revelations, if you will, we're probably up against a Mega Venusaur deck. So I mean, I wouldn't say very fortunate that we got paired into one, but we can't assume that we are going to end up winning just based on weakness, right? Typical 1500 elo deck. Yeah, I mean, we're heading into the 1600, so you would hope to not see as much of these roguish decks, but I mean, it's part of it, right? We don't know. We might be testing something. They might be playing for fun. Yeah, they might have found the perfect build for Mega Venusaur that is about to wreck Toronto. You never know. Yeah. There's the Chikorita. We don't have any counter stadium, so my opponent will always have access to Forest of Vitality. And I mean, there is a universe where if they get enough energy into play and they have the Meganium, I could end up being in a situation where, because I probably have to bench the Squawkabilly next turn, they could go for a 2/2 price raise, or we would need to really rely on the Legacy Energy to make up for this. So okay, so this Ultra Ball, I'm definitely gonna have to go for Squawk, assuming it's in here, which it is. There's another Ceruledge available. That's great. The Drilbur is in there. Okay, so apparently I didn't make the last change. I didn't have Drilbur in the list I showed, so that's a mistake. I took out the Drilbur for a research. Apparently I didn't update my deck on TCG Live, so just keep that in mind. And I priced Legacy Energy, so offsetting the price raise is going to be a lot more difficult because of that. Okay, I'm going to attach the Fire, and we're going to go ahead and Carmine first before Squawk, because I'm not guaranteed a supporter after. I did attach in case I find like other basics and I get to retreat. I think at this point I'm better off just establishing another Charcadet rather than the Lunatone Solrock engine. And then we get to thin, more energy. I do want to leave a healthy amount of both. I do want to draw extra cards, but I feel like missing an attachment for turn 2 attack could be pretty detrimental. And I'm already going to lose a Fire here. I'm already going to lose another one here. I priced the Legacy. I lost a Night Stretcher, so I'd rather not whiff. Wow. Well, and see, this is exactly why you do not... Okay, generally, I think I'm going to retreat into the Squawk. This is exactly why you don't assume, right? I can hit for weakness. However, I can't... I can hit for weakness, but I can't count on just winning, right? I just squawked into a dead hand. Now, I didn't play the Fighting Gong in case I top deck Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, Solrock, or Lunatone. I just Fighting Gong for the other. If I commit to one, then I take away 2 outs, right? If I commit to Solrock, then if I top deck, like, I guess I take out 1 out, but if I commit to Solrock and I top deck Solrock, that's bad. So taking it a bit slower. The Genesect could actually make things very awkward, so I will have to attach energy to Squawk. I mean, I do have Turo eventually. Ideally, my Squawk tanks a hit, and this gives me one turn. You caught Briar, Kyle King. Yeah, Briar is definitely a very... Like, it's nice to have, and it's important for your opponent to like to keep your opponent honest, but it's very rarely used because we don't have any specific search for it, right? So yeah, I can totally see cutting that. Okay, so I do top deck the Ultra Ball. So now I have another choice to make. Do I go Turo, Ultra Ball, grab the... Oh no, I don't have a Fire Energy, so never mind. I actually cannot do that. Okay, I don't think I'll be missing the boss's orders too much. So I'm gonna Ultra Ball away that. And then let's go ahead and grab the Solrock, and we use Fighting Gong to grab the Lunatone, and we draw 3 extra cards. It's not perfect, but at least we get it going a little bit. Alright, Lunar Cycle. Okay, Night Stretcher could give me a Fire or a Ceruledge. I could attack with Squawk and just get the Fires out of the discard, which I really like. Nest Ball could be important for... Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I kind of want to make my opponent come. If I attach on our energy, the Ogerpon doesn't. Okay, so here's the plan. Okay, we're gonna go Turo the Squawk. And I can either just promote Charcadet. What does this do? Search your deck for a fire and attach it to this Pokemon. I don't think I want to do that. So I was thinking Squawk promote. I'll just do the Charcadet, that's fine. And I'll keep my hand as is. I think this is fine for now. Assuming my opponent takes a knockout next turn, we can Nest Ball for Fez. We have Night Stretcher for a potential fighting if we need to draw more cards. But we definitely want to start attacking very, very soon. And yeah, this is part of the reason why I added the second research over the Drilbur. Alright. Okay, so there goes Superrod, putting back the Toad Scroll and the Wochian. Okay, we get IO Node. I'm happy with that. Fresh new hand that works for me. We find a Carmine, we find Pal Pad to recover probably the boss's orders, and maybe the other Carmine. Probably don't need Turo anymore. We do see a bug catching set. My opponent actually took an energy away from the Ogerpon, so are we gonna just see a box cannon for 60? Which we have Briar, so even if we only take a single prize, that's fine. One killing a Ceruledge, even with Meganium, shouldn't be too easy. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot overall. Now that we got IO Node, even with the previous hand, as long as my opponent took a knockout, we were probably fine. And there's a knockout, okay? So pretty great. That means we get a Ceruledge going. I do want to Ultra for a Ceruledge as opposed to grabbing a backup Charcadet. Iron Bundle, not very useful here. I could also just draw with Lunatone and then decide, because if I draw the Ceruledge, I can Ultra Ball for Charcadet. And there we go. Yeah, perfect example. Okay, so we're gonna bench that friend, gonna bench this friend. Going to for sure establish a backup. You know what? Maybe I keep the Iron Bundle just for funsies. Definitely want to get the Charcadet for sure. Hola Trey, muchas gracias por pasarte. And then we definitely want to Pal Pad the boss, right? I think let's do boss and Carmine just for a little bit of extra draw power. Yeah. The Iron Bundle is tempting. I mean, knocking out... Like, if I'm ever forced to knock out Genesect, the Iron Bundle could actually come into play. I probably don't need the extra bench space for anything else. I was going to say, the difficult card to find here was going to be possibly the Fire Energy. However, we were able to just find it. So how many Fighting Energy are left? 8. 3 left. I don't remember if I priced any. I'm just going to draw. I'm going to... Keeping ways to find Fighting Energy or raw energy of your deck means draw for Lunatone, right? So it's important to not always like just go thin every card. There might be a spot where you do want to do it, but it's important not to do it all the time because sometimes like keeping Fighting Energy in the deck means your Lunatone is live after an Iono. So that's a very like something small. Let's take prizes 1 and 2. Something small, but it could be important. And there's the Legacy Energy, which is pretty great to find for sure. Now we're in a very good spot, right? We have boss to chase down another 2 prizer in case my opponent attacks with single prizer, which doesn't seem like they're going to do. And then we have Iron Bundle. We still have the Briar available in the deck, I believe, to potentially win the game next turn in case my opponent has Genesect or the Meganium or whatever. So I'm feeling pretty good now. Feeling pretty good. We're getting bots in Twitch, so I'll take that as a good thing. There we go. All right. And Becerrito, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate it. We're so close to 7,000 followers, so hopefully we can get there before the end of the year. And yeah, this is another situation where like Briar can win me the game, but I probably win it regardless, right? So Briar is like a win more card. I still like having some ooh, okay. The Toadscrew. I thought about playing the Night Stretcher. Oof, okay. So the Toadscrew means my Night Stretcher no longer works. And that's really bad, because now I need to find Suprod, which I haven't discarded, right? Oh, that Toadscrew is very bad news. Yeah, I still have the Suprod available. I have 13 cards left in the deck, so we are far from guaranteed. And I thought about the Night Stretcher, and I was like, no, I can just keep it. I swear I thought about it. Okay. So this is not great. Oh my gosh, the Suprod is priced. So that's game. The Suprod is priced, so I just lost the game. Because I didn't Night Stretcher the turn before. Okay, so backup plan 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 energy. How many energy does this deck play? Ugh, I swear I thought about the Night Stretcher. And I was like, nah, why? There's no need. Okay, well, I mean, let's try. Let's try. We need the Toadscroll to be stuck in the active for at least a couple turns, right? Like I need to knock it out. That's what I have to do. So this also comes down to having 2 Ceruledge in my starting hand, right? And not price checking for a Super. If I had price checks for a Super Rod, I probably would have played the Night Stretcher. We see the energy switch, so unfortunate loss there. Unfortunate series of events. Top decking, Night Stretcher, not ideal. Alright, let's try and see 8, 9. So that means 2 fighting are priced. 1 Charcadet is priced, 1 Ceruledge is priced. Squawk isn't, that's good to know. I forgot to take out the Drilbur. I forgot to make the change. Okay, I guess we're gonna play with Drilbur. Okay, Super Rod is available. Okay. So now, this is always an interesting decision. Do you Lunar Cycle before you Carmine, potentially drawing cards you don't want to discard, such as Ceruledge's Super Rod Recovery, or do you not Lunar Cycle and hope you draw Fighting afterwards? I think because I didn't price Legacy, and I still have 3 fires and the Legacy, I'm gonna grab 2 fires, and I'm just gonna let the odds decide which are in my favor for me to be able to exactly Lunar Cycle afterwards. Now that I got 2 more fires, the Pal Pad, the Night Stretcher. Okay, so this means I probably, like, if I go for Squawk, I'm not even guaranteed a Charcadet, right? So I am going to just go for the Charcadet immediately. Have that ready instead of going Squawk, destroying more of my deck potentially. I'm just gonna pass here. I could get once again punished by a body use, so maybe I should have played the Pal Pad. Like every time I say I could be punished by blah blah blah, I end up getting punished exactly by what I mentioned. Mandrake, saludos hasta España, muchas gracias por ver. ¿Por qué estoy jugando Ceruledge? Pues para variar, ¿no? Realmente juego todos los decks, no estoy jugando. Hoy quería jugar Ceruledge, quería jugar un deck más agresivo y directo. No ha ganado nada Ceruledge últimamente, pero tampoco es un mal deck, entonces esa es la razón. Alright, so we're up against some sort of Noctowl deck, possibly Terrabox. If that Ditto transforms into the Wellspring Ogerpon and my opponent goes Sob, trap my Lunatone, I could be in a little bit of an issue. Yeah, I could be in a little bit of trouble. What I meant to say. If he goes into body you, it's not ideal. Lose a Pal Pad, lose a Night Stretcher. I mean, I'm gonna lose a Night Stretcher anyways, probably. No matter what. So at least we have Super Red, but we actually see Raging Bolt. So that's great. That is great to see. We see the Raging Bolt right there. What's not nice to see is the Crispin right off the bat, which means my Lunatone is going to go down. Okay, I mean, that means I do have some use for the Night Stretcher, right? I recover the Lunatone engine and I get to potentially draw. I'll probably Pal Pad back the research. 6 energy in the discard pile means I'm doing 150 damage right now. Okay. All right, so we're gonna Night Stretcher for the Lunatone. So now I think is where I want to draw with Lunar Cycle first, because now there's way less cards. Like the only card I would hate to see myself discard or draw is like Super Rod. Everything else is fair game. And by drawing more cards right now, I could draw energy, which I can then Carmine, right? Because I really need to reach for the knockout here. Okay, that's perfectly fine, right? I get a Charcadet I get the Ceruledge guaranteed. I get another fire in the discard pile. I get to establish the Fez. I really want to go out and get the knockout here. And let's go ahead and get the research back into the deck for like future. I have not tried. I mean, I could draw with Fez the same, but I also need like Ultra Balls and a Charcadet. So, oh, dang, that's rough. 8. I'm at 190. I need this Fez to be huge here. Oh, that's not enough. Am I 1 energy short? 10. Yep, I'm 1 energy short. Gosh. That's so unfortunate. Okay. Well. Oh wait. The Drilbur. I'm actually not short. The Drilbur, which is not available, never mind, is not here to save the day. Dang it. Stupid Drilbur, when I need you, you're not available. Alright, well, I wasn't getting the knockout anyway, so I'll keep this energy for Lunar Cycle. 1 energy away. Should be Fez first, like the Lunatone. I thought about it for the same reasoning, right? Maybe that was correct. In the end, I would have whiffed anyways, it seems. So yeah, maybe it was Fez first for the same reasoning as the Lunatone, to see if I can draw energy for guaranteed discard off the energy. So yeah, possibly. Possibly. Alright, so my opponent did have the Ultra Ball into the Terra, which I was hoping they would whiff. So what I can do now, my opponent takes this knockout. They're going to be at 3. I mean, they do need a lot, I guess. Not a lot, but like they need Sada for 2, plus the Teal Lens, plus attach. Which if they have another Noctowl, that's fine. They immediately play a Nest Ball, so that was probably the card of the Teal Lens, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, there we go. Did they really Teal Lens into the Nest Ball? I mean, they might not have, right? They might not have. But I think in a knockout, this game would have been, as long as I benched the Charcadet, this game would have been basically over. Now, though, I'm down to my last, like, I only have 1. I have Legacy Energy as a way to attack. I'm down both my Night Stretchers. So, this was basically cursed. This whole time. Okay, my opponent chooses to go after the Fez instead. So, yeah, this is pretty bad. So, off this board of my opponent, they will take 2 prizes, right? I think my opponent's most valuable Pokemon is the Ogerpon, right? That's the one way, because that turns off Area 0. That's like the one way they could possibly whiff. Okay. Ultra Ball. Let's Lunar Cycle first. Okay. I really think I should go after the Ogerpon here. Generally think that's what my plan should be. And let's go ahead and thin, trying to find that Legacy Energy at some point, or Super Rod, right? Is it ever attached to Solrock? Solrock KO with Raging Bolt could actually matter at some point. So let's just go after this. This is also the energy they kept. So doing 280 next turn is not going to be super easy for them. Their bench will be limited until they bench another Terra. They will need to Sada again, right? And have a Grass and have another energy to get a knockout. So you discard the Noctowl and the Rotom, makes sense. They go into Latias. They do have a 5-card hand, so a pretty healthy one at that. But can they whiff? Can they whiff? They have the Ultra Ball. So what does that get them? They discard Crispin and Jamming Tower. They go for Fez. Okay, if they bench Fez, they can no longer Noctowl. And they can no longer KO me now. That's great. Well, I guess they can with Glass Trumpet, but like they need Sada, Glass Trumpet, Energy Switch. Oh, I guess, no, they need Sada, Glass Trumpet, Attachment for turn. No, Glass Trumpet doesn't work, never mind. They can't KO me anymore. They can't KO me, and I have Briar in my hand. So they're probably gonna retreat into a Hood this turn, which means I need to find Boss or Legacy Energy. So like I need to find Boss to still go 2/2/2. If I find Legacy Energy within the next 2 turns, I should be fine, right? Because of Briar. Even if I take this single price knockout. So all right, we have a chance. We have a chance. Iron Bundle just means the other Hood comes up. I mean, if I whiff, like I could purposely just go Jet into Solrock to take the KO. That also works. Gonna need the Legacy Energy no matter what. So, well, if they KO the Ceruledge, right? So 11 energy, that's more than enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up, like I'm gonna take the KO with Solrock because I couldn't get the KO. Yeah. I couldn't get the KO. A 2-pricer, right? I didn't find the boss, that's fine. I won't be needing Carmine. I might need Bundle. Get rid of the Drilbur. Oh, actually Drilbur would have been an extra card to thin, so that was a mistake. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake actually. I should have benched the Drilbur. All right, Cosmic Beam. This Lunatone draw has to be huge. I don't think there's anything that can help me here. Yeah, Fighting Energy. So the Lunatone draw has to be ridiculously good. Or they can whiff the knockout on the Ceruledge. If they whiff knockout on the Ceruledge, that's fine. Oh, actually, if they knock out Ceruledge, then I can't Briar. And I probably lose the game. So I couldn't attack with Ceruledge that turn either. Oof, okay. So can they go boss KO Ceruledge? Actually, yeah, no. If they go boss KO Ceruledge, then they need to whiff again, right? We'll see, we'll see. I'm a little confused, I guess. Thanks so much, PalDTV, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really goes a long way. And thanks so much for the follow as well. And Harsha TV, or Harsha Yellow Alejo, thanks so much. Okay, my opponent did have the boss, so that's probably game. Yep, and it comes down to being 1 energy of KOing the bolts. That's what it came down to. I mean, now I KO and hope for the best, right? They can't Iono, so now they're very low on cards, they're very low on everything. They do need to discard 4. This time around, they discard the energy of the Teal Mask. So the only KO I have guaranteed is with Solrock. If I could somehow like boss KO, like countercatcher KO Hoot plus Iono, maybe I'd have a chance. So it's not over yet, but it's probably over. Yep, I get the Fighting Energy as a punish. As a punish for my non-thinning. I can't even boss KO the Ogre Pawn to try and deny the Noctowl. So yeah, that's gonna be the game. I mean, I'll take the knockout, sure, but it's over for sure. I can't imagine my opponent whiffing with a 7-card hand, a Hoot available, a Terra Pokemon in play, their draw for turn plus best draw. There's just no way. Yeah, they immediately promote the bolts, and that's gonna be another loss for Ceruledge. Previous one could have been avoided by playing a Night Stretcher. This one, I don't think. Maybe the Fez draw before the Carmine. I don't remember what I drew exactly. Maybe if I found Ultra Ball, maybe that would have changed the order of my deck. But yeah, there's the Noctowl, so I'm not even gonna give the benefit of the doubt that my opponent will misplay. So another loss for Ceruledge. Like Gardevoir goes away, Charizard goes away. So like arguably better decks go away, and that's good for it. Yeah. Okay, so we have Gardevoir. Yeah, speaking of, we have Gardevoir. The Freelish start means my Solrock is just that much weaker. That much weaker. What am I doing? Yeah, Carmine. So I could just guarantee a lot of draw. Squawk, like benching Squawk in this match in particular is really bad because it has perfect HP for Screamtail. But I feel like I really want an explosive start, right? I want an explosive start which will allow me to just pressure my opponent as much as possible and allow me to wreck them as quickly as possible. Okay, and I'm glad I went for the Squawk because that was not great. I'm not gonna bench the Drilbur. That was a research. We would still be discarding it anyways. I do find a Charcadet. Okay, I will need to. I'm gonna keep the Turo. I do need Lunatone for extra draw because now my hand is dead. So hopefully this Lunar Cycle gets me going a little bit. Okay, I have to assume I'm gonna be under item lock next turn, so I'm gonna play down that already. And I could go ahead and just grab myself the Ceruledge now. I lose the Turo. I lose a Charcadet too, and I did prize a Charcadet. But it allows me to get like the potential for maximum pressure. So I'm gonna go for it, but this could be a mistake for sure. Yeah, like this might be the turn where we look back into I lost the game because of that choice. Hopefully that's not the case, but I could see that being the case right here. Little Frizz, thank you so much. Thank you so much for wishing me luck. Thank you. Yeah, rotation should be kind to Ceruledge in terms of it doesn't lose much, right? So that's great. All right. So there we see the Ralt. Hola, Protissimo. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, there's a Fez. So my opponent anticipating the knockout. They know the 2 cards in my hand, right? I mean, best case scenario, my opponent doesn't even item lock me. They Ultra Ball away the Super Art though. I mean, that's good news overall, probably. And they grab Mew, so does that mean they have a pretty bad hand? Okay, they're gonna go restart for 2. So they're really anticipating, like they know they have a bad hand and they're really anticipating a knockout next turn. Night Stretcher for the energy to draw. With the Mystery Garden? No, they're gonna go Oceanic Gloom. Okay. They do have the energy for Mystery Garden. Okay, so they draw 4. That's 2 recovery cards gone though, so that's pretty important. Another Ralt, that's fair. And they do get the item lock off. So I need a raw Fire Energy off of this Lunar Cycle, which I don't think odds are in my favor to accomplish that. And yep, there we go. Okay, so I could get myself a price card here. Could get myself a price card. I also kind of don't want, well, if I don't evolve, and Screamtail could wreck me. So is it worth it to go boss, KO or Ralts? Or just attack into the Frillish? I'm just gonna attack into a Frillish. Yeah. My opponent didn't play a supporter last turn, so that much we know is not available for them. Or, I mean, they could be holding the Arven for Rare Candy Gardevoir. See what they top deck, that is a possibility. I feel like if you're gonna do that, then you probably Arven for... Okay. Arven for the secret box, and they would have played it out, so we get the fire. That turn, though, that I didn't KO is pretty big, though. Atre, have I seen the new Megas? No, please no spoilers for the DLC or Legend CA. I have not seen all the new Megas. I've only seen what the trailers have shown. So pretty please, no spoilers. No spoilers about Legend CA DLC right here. Please, please, please. All right. So another Fire Energy top deck. We do get an attachment, which is nice. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I mean, do I want to draw with Lunar Cycle? Maybe not. Yeah, I kind of don't want to draw with Lunar Cycle. Okay, so at the very least, we will be able to have access to the other Charcadet, hopefully, if the item lock doesn't continue. But this will give my opponent Fez. They do have a fresh new hand. It could go Candy Gardevoir, Screamtail, KO Squawk, right? And that would be pretty bad. And one issue with this Ceruledge deck is the fact that you have the Raging Amethyst attack, which you don't ever use yourself, but your opponent can copy with their Mew to 1KO you, right? So they do have that 1KO option available, and it would be really bad to see it right now. Like a counter catcher KO here would be really bad on Ceruledge, because then I don't have a good way to recover off of that. But it does get Lily, does get Flip the Script. That's an 11 card hand, looking for a Candy Guardy. We just see the Kirlia, but we see the secret box. Okay, so hopefully they can't counter catcher KO my Ceruledge. If they do, then discarding that Charcadet, yeah, like I mentioned, looking back, discarding that Charcadet could be the reason we end up losing this game. Okay, they grabbed Ultra Ball, so that means they have the candy. Probably. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and play it. They have the thing, they have the Bravery Charm. There's the Guardy. Do they go after the Squawk? Or can they actually KO me? Okay, I do have Pal Pad still available for a potential Briar, but this is really bad. This is really, really bad overall. All right. This is really, really bad overall. Do they have 4 Psychic? They do. Because they have the Diancie though, like we could go... Okay, they're gonna go into the Diancie now. So we could go 1, 2, 3 in terms of prizes, right? that that Bravery Charm makes it real difficult. But if they're not gonna take a 2-prizer this turn, then that's fine. That's fine by me, right? The extra damage will stick, so they have 280 HP left, essentially 310, right? Which I'm not too far off. I'm at 290 right now. Yeah, 280 plus minus the ability, 230. We are not too far off from getting the knockout here. Okay, have I lost the other Solrock? No, I just top decked it. Great. Okay. So let's go Nest Ball for the Charcadet. I have 3 energy left. Okay, I'm just, because I'm bad at math, it's 290, right? 260. Wait, is it taking into account the Diancie ability already? It is, right? Because 13 times 2 is 260. Okay, so I need 1 more energy, and that's fine, right? And then I get the knockout. Pretty sure, right? Okay, Fighting Energy, that's great. I do want to leave. Actually, no, drawing the Fighting Energy is bad. I do want to leave myself with the possibility, or just have the Charcadet ready to go, right? Have the Charcadet ready to go. It can't evolve, but at least it's now powered up. I'm doing 280 damage now. I wish I could bench the Fez and use the Iron Bundle, so benching the Iron Bundle ends up being costly. I was anticipating a possible Jellicent issue, but right now, if I Iron Bundle, my opponent brings up purely our Screamtail, I go down to 4, and that's bad. I think just take the knockout right now, and Pal Pad, Boss, and Briar? I mean, I have a Research and a Carmine in there. And the other boss. So it's definitely boss. I mean, I don't see my opponent going down to 2 prizes at any point. So I feel like just making sure I can find Ceruledge might be my win condition. Eventually. So, is this enough? It is, right? Yes. I can do maths. Great. I can do maths properly. Alright. Now we're down to the prize cards. We do not have Fighting Energy in deck. We also do not have a... we do not have Fez down, which is pretty bad. So putting Carmine back into the deck was pretty good. Overall, maybe even putting 2 back could have been important. So the biggest problem is if I did get the Charcadet off the prizes, but if I don't win next turn, and I can't bench another Charcadet, I'm in trouble. But my opponent decides to continue. Si estás buscando algún producto o carta de Pokémon, puedes encontrarlo en hyperbeamcards.com y utiliza el código tablemon para un 5% de descuento en tu compra.